All right. That's what the character did. So would you say that his actions were good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. All right. And if what would you tell him, to maybe make it so he wouldn't do that
Not
again?
to do that.
Do you know why would you think that that's a good idea? Do you know why you would tell him not to do that? Maybe we could tell him not to do that because tricking people isn't good. Because
That's rude.
right, yes, it's rude. We could tell him, that since it's okay that that like you said, like tricking people isn't good, but also since he tricked people, he
And
kind
that's
of lied.
rude.
Yep, he kind of lied, and if you tell a bunch of lies, people might not believe you when something actually does happen. So it's a really good thing to do. All right, so now that we did that, I'm going to read you this story, and then we're going to do the same thing. But after we read this story, you're going to go through the pictures like we talked about. You haven't pointed the page, and you're just gonna tell me what you remember, the story in your words, just by looking at the pictures. You're not even gonna read the words. You're just gonna look at and just looking at what they're doing on the pictures. You're gonna be like, oh, this is what they were doing, and you just point at the pictures as you tell them, and then be like, oh yeah, and this they were, this. You'll explain it. You'll understand once I read the story. But alrighty,
I almost crushed my finger.
it's okay. All right, so we're gonna read this. Right, it is The Good Sport. I'm actually just going to leave it here. So, all right. Let me look at the picture so you know what's going on. You don't have to do that now. Like right now, I'm just reading it to you. All right. The Little Mermaid loved playing finball with her friends. They call it finball instead of volleyball because they're fish and they live in the ocean. Flounder, Fish, and his sister Sandy. She would often brag to her sisters that the three of them were the best finball players of the sea. Then, one day, her sisters challenged them to a game. I want to make sure we can win the match, Ariel said to Sebastian. Will you help us practice? Of course I will, said Sebastian. I'll be your coach, and Scales will be my assistant. Scales, that's the name of his dragon. Yeah. Let's make sure you're listening. Tweet went Sebastian's whistle, and the practice began. Ariel, Flounder, and Sandy were playing against Scales. The dragon threw the ball to Sandy, but Flounder jumped in her way and hit the ball back over the net. That was supposed to be for me, said annoyed Sandy. I didn't think you were ready, Flounder told her. And besides, I'm really good at those tricky shots. See what he did? The ball was coming to her, but he jumped in front of her and made it so she couldn't get the ball, even though it was going to her. Yep. Then Scales threw the ball to the Little Mermaid. This time Flounder jumped in front of Ariel and hit the back ball over the net. Flounder! Shouted Ariel. That ball was supposed to be for me. But I'm much better hitter than you are, replied Flounder, and we want to win, right? See, he did it again, and see, this time Ariel's getting upset with him because this time the ball got hit to her, and then he got in front of it and took the ball, even though it wasn't his to take. And that's why they're upset with him. We have to play together to win, Flounder, Ariel told him. You're not the only one on this team. Ariel's right, said Sebastian. You can't do it all by yourself. But I'm so much better than they are, the little fish complained. You'd be even better if you worked with your teammates, advised Sebastian's. You have to let the others play too. See, that's Sebastian. He's a coach. He's telling them, you got to let them play. It's only fair. You can't hog all the ball. Just then, Ursula, the evil sea witch, came slithering around the corner with her pet eels. Mm-hmm. What's this? She crackled. A little game of finball? Why, it's one of my favorite sports. Really? Well, we're practicing for a match against Ariel's sisters, replied Sandy. Not not that we need to practice. We're very good, said Flounder. Yeah, see, he thinks he's so good. Is that so? Said the witch with a laugh. Well, no matter how hard you practice, you and your little friends will never be able to beat me. Here, you should keep your head lifted up, please. Thank you. It's like I want you to pay attention. Oh, yes, we would, Ariel said, defending her friends. Our team is the best. Well, then, replied the sea witch, Let's find out which team is really the best. What would you say for a little match? You and your friends against me and my eels, Flotsam and Jetsam. Those are the name of her eels, Flotsam and Jetsam. If you win, I'll do whatever you tell me to for 3 days. And if I win, you each will have to do whatever I say for 3 whole weeks. Ariel whispered to Flounder, "Do you really think we can win?" "Of course we can," said Flounder. We're the best, remember?" And so the game began. Now we're playing a game against the Sea Witch. Ariel served. Yep, yeah. Except this isn't what happened. Ariel served the ball, and Flotsam slapped it right back at Sandy. Flounder leaped in front of his sister and batted the ball away, but Ursula, with her 8 enormous legs, or tentacles, I'm sorry, was right there and scored the first point. So did you see what happened? The ball was going to his sister, and he jumped in front of her again, and he made it so they were able to score a point. He messed it up. "Come on," Scales cried from the sidelines. "You can do it." Remember Scales? But the shots the eels hit with their powerful tails were too much for Flounder to handle. So he thought he was so good, but even he can't do it all by himself. He tried as hard as he could, leaping and diving and batting the ball, but it was no use. Ursula's team always scored the point. "Tweet," went Sebastian's whistle. "Time out," he shouted. "I need to talk to my team." See, he's down there blowing his whistle, telling them, "All right, time out." "Flounder, you keep trying to do everything by yourself," Sebastian said, and the three friends swam to meet him. "That's why we're losing." "But I'm the best player we have," Flounder objected. "If I let the other plays, we'll only lose faster." See, he thinks he's just so good that if they play, that they're going to lose no matter what. "No one can do it all on his own," said Sebastian. "Everyone has something to contribute as part of a team. If the three of you work together, you'll be much stronger than any one of you could be playing alone. Try passing the ball to Ariel or Sandy. That way Ursula and her eels won't know who is really going to hit the ball over the net." Just trying to tell them to do some teamwork. "Please, Flounder," Ariel pleaded. "We have to work together. After all, think of what's at stake. If we lose, we'll have to do everything Ursula says for 3 weeks." Ursula served the ball right to Flounder. Flounder jumped up in the air, only this time, instead of hitting the ball back at Ursula and her eels, he passed it to Sandy, the way Sebastian had told him to. Flotsam and Jetsam were so confused, they got tangled around each other. See, look at that. He passed the ball. Now he's being a team member. Make sure you pay attention. Sandy easily knocked the ball over the net for a point. "Hooray!" cried Ariel. "It worked." Sebastian was right. Flounder realized the secret was teamwork. So yeah, he realized that doing it all by himself wasn't good. Sorry, I know you're tired. It's getting late, but we're almost done with this. The three friends continued passing the ball back and forth, working together, which confused Ursula and her eels more and more. Soon the game was tied. The next team to score a point would be the winner. "They're too good when we play together," Ursula told her eels when they play together. "We're going to have to find a way to trick Flounder into trying to do it all on his own again." Oh, they're trying to trick him. Remember how he was selfish at the beginning? Right. Ursula served the ball softly to Sandy, hoping that Flounder wouldn't be able to resist jumping in front of his sisters to get the ball, just as he had so many times before. Then, see how, but then Ursula and her eels could gang up on Flounder and they'd win the point, which means they'd win the game. Sure enough, Flounder did leap in front of Sandy for the ball, but instead of hitting it back over the net the way Ursula expected him to, he passed it to Ariel, who easily smashed the ball over the net for the winning point. "Hooray!" Scale shouted, jumping up and down with glee. "Our team won!" I knew they could do it, said Sebastian proudly. Now we're really ready to match with Ariel's sisters. Wait, cried the sea witch as she tried to untangle herself from her arrows. You cheated! No, we didn't, replied Flounder. We just used teamwork. Now, you'll do what we want for 3 days, Ariel reminded Ursula, and we'll be wanting lots of seaberry muffins. The end. All right. So, there was that story. It was good. All right, so now that we did that, again, like I said, I wanted you to pay attention. So now we're just going to go through. I just want you to tell me what you remember. I want you to flip through this pages and we're going to do that. You're just going to look through at the pictures. And just by looking at the pictures, you don't have to read the words at all. I just want you to tell me the story again, but tell me just by the pictures and what happened. So what do you remember what happened on this page? What was going on here?
She got mad.
Well, does she look mad? I don't think that happened on this page. That might have happened later in the book, but what do you think? What were they doing? It looks like to me here that they're just playing.
Volleyball.
Yeah, or yes, volleyball, pretty much. What did they? I don't. They called it fin ball, but yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just playing. All right. So then, what happened? What do you think happened on this page? What do you remember? Yeah. Why did she get mad though?
Because he jumped in front of her.
All right. Yeah. All right. And then what's going on? What's going on here on this page?
He got sad. And she got mad.
But again, tell me why. Like, do you remember what else though? Do you remember why he told her he was jumping in front of her? What did he say? Why was he wanting to be the only player? I talked about it while the whole time I was reading the story. What did he think? You don't why does he want to be the one that the ball goes to? Because he thinks he's.
I hated him.
Yep. All right, but hey, we're paying attention to this. I was like, because remember he thought he was the best player. You were supposed to be listening to the story. That's why I kept telling you to sit up. Alrighty, so yeah. Alright, so like I said, yeah, he thought that he was better than them. Like I said, remember they got later in the book, he said that if they play, that they're only going to lose faster because he's better. Alright, so do you remember what was happening on these pages? This is all kind of one big picture. They're not different ones like this other one. So what's happening here? You remember?
She got mad.
Yeah, she got mad, but what's going on here? What are they doing? Do you remember what they were talking about? You got to think about it. Remember what he's doing? Are you sure you don't remember? Like, yeah, you're sure. Okay. So he was telling them that they're supposed to be team members. Remember? We were just talking about that. You got to remember that. The story's not changing. It's the same story. I know you're tired, honey, but we really got to pay attention to this. All right, so what's happening here? What do you remember why she came up? What was going on? Why did she come up to them? What are they going to do in the story? You were listening. What do they do later in the story? What do they do them together? What do they do against each other?
Play against each
other. Oh yeah, so when she came up to them, what is she telling them she wants to do?
Play against each other.
Well, yeah, she comes up to them and she says she wants to play a game. I really need you to be paying attention, Jayden. I know you're getting tired, but if you were in school with your teacher, you'd have to listen. So that's what you have to teach us just like you're in school. That's what we're doing here. This is our actually lessons. This isn't just for fun. All right. So they told her that she was the best, that they were the best team, and she laughed at them and told them that she wasn't. Do you remember what happened here? Look at the pictures and see.
They were playing against her.
Yeah, but what else? But what's actually happening in the picture, though? They're more than just them playing is happening. Look at the characters. What's he doing? What is she doing? What?
He jumped in front of her.
And then what? Okay. And since he did that, what happened? What does that mean? You remember?
She won.
Oh yeah, well she got the point. Yeah.
She got one.
She got a point. Yep, and then what's happening here, I think, pretty much, I know you gotta pay attention. I know, but like pretty much the same thing. See? So what's happening here? Come on, what's happening?
He can throw it over here.
Hey, well, it says like that hasn't happened yet. Because remember, she's laughing. Like, look, her face, that means she's laughing.
She's laughing.
So, yeah, well, so if she's laughing, what do you think that means? Did he score a point if she's laughing? No. All right, next page. So you look, all right, so then this is, remember, he's the coach. So then he called a meeting. What happened in this meeting? What are they telling him? Remember, look at their faces. What do they look like in this picture?
Mad.
So yeah, and again, what were they mad about?
That he jumped in front of her.
Well, he was jumping in front of both of them. It wasn't just her, but yeah. So he was taking the ball from them, and that's not very fair. All right, and then right here again, this is kind of like what happened. Careful, earlier in the book. Remember, he's the coach. What is he doing here? What does he have to tell him?
That he has to be nice and fair.
Yep, yeah, that he has to be nice and fair. That's good. Yep, all right, and then
she's happy.
Yeah, she's happy. You know why she's happy? Yeah. Do you remember? Because he remember what he did? Sebastian told him to be nice and fair.
He passed the ball to
All right, the music was funny, but all right, sorry about that. All right, so like we said, we were on this page. So do you remember what happened in this page?
He passed it to her, and she made a block.
Yep, yeah, that is what happened. And then and it said that her eels, that Flotsam and Jetsam, they got all tangled up in each other because
their tails got tangled up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, yep, because they get all confused. All right, so what happens here?
She scored another point.
Yeah, she did score another point. No, you're exactly right. All right. And then what do you remember what Flounder realized after she scored that point? What did he remember? Because he was being selfish. What did he learn now?
Not to do that.
Yeah, that he shouldn't do that. Yep.
And that's rude.
Yes, and that it's rude. Okay, what is she doing here? Do you remember?
She got mad.
Yeah, and so she decided. What did she decide she was going to try to do to Flounder?
To make him jump in front of her.
Yeah, she was going to try to
make her mad.
Yeah, she was trying to get him to she was trying to trick him into being a bad team player again. All right, so then.
And then he did it.
Yeah,
in front of her.
He did. He jumped right in front of her. You're right.
And she's laughing.
Yeah, because she's just like, ha ha ha, my trick worked.
And then he passed it to her.
He does. Yeah, that's on the next page. See, yeah, you were paying attention to the ending a lot better. That's good. Alrighty, so yeah, and so what happens when he passed it to her then?
Then she scored a point.
And then what does that mean that happened?
They won.
Yeah, they won. And that means Ursula has to do whatever they want for 3 days. And they said they wanted a lot of sea berry muffins. All right. Good job. Yes, that was a good job. And that's what I wanted you to do, just to tell me the story in your own words, how you remembered it. All right. Okay, so what did you think? If we're reading the story now, we've read it together or I read it to you, and then you kind of you retold the story. You didn't read it. You just told me the story, what you remembered in your own words. So, what did you think? What was there any character in this book that did something over and over again, kind of like that boy? Yeah, what did he do?
He kept on jumping in front of her.
Yeah, kind of like how that boy who cried wolf. He kept crying wolf, wolf, and
there was no wolf.
Oh, keep your shirt down, honey. Sorry, we have a recording. Yeah, you're right. He cried wolf, and there was no wolf, and it wasn't the same kind of trick, but it's still neither of them were
being rude.
Yeah. So
and at the end, he was being there was actually a wolf, and they didn't come.
Yep, yeah. So yeah, would you say that him jumping in front of the ball like that, was that good or bad? Yeah. What would you think the right thing to do would be in that situation if someone was passing a ball to one of your friends or teammates?
Not to jump in front of them.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that because that's not very fair,
That's rude.
Yeah, because I'm sure that just like the ball went to them, the ball probably would have came to you. You would have gotten a turn. You got to, give everyone a turn, because especially in this book, they were practicing for a game. So we wanted to make sure that, everyone got a chance to practice. Otherwise, they wouldn't be any good. All right. So, yeah, other than, is there anything else that you would tell him? Other, like, given, is there any, remember I said advice was kind of like, what, like a tip, almost like, oh, you should do this instead. Is there any other advice you could think about giving him other than just, you shouldn't do that? You know, instead, even if he wants to hit the ball first, what should he do? Instead of just hitting the ball right back over the net, what should he do?
Wait until the other person does.
Right. Well, like, but remember, what did he do in the story? What, like, let me see. What's he doing here? Instead of hitting the ball right over
He's
the net.
passing over.
Yeah, so he should pass the ball. We should tell him. So if the ball is coming, because in practice the ball will come to one person.
If the other ball is going to the other person and it comes to you, you gotta pass it to the other.
Right, because
right
then,
beside you.
yeah, because if you hit it right back over, the person on the other side of the net, they're gonna know exactly where that ball is going because you're hitting it. But if you pass it to someone, there could be a couple people you can pass it to. They don't know the future. They don't know
Like
who you're
3
gonna.
or 4 or 5.
Yeah, on a regular volleyball team, there's 6
Or
people
10.
altogether. Yeah, well, on a regular volleyball team, there's 6. So usually there's 5 other people that you could pass it to, and they don't know which one it's going to be, so it kind of surprises them. They have to be on their toes, is what they call it. Be ready for anything. All right.
But in the story, there was 3.
Yeah, but it was just 3 against 3, and you can play volleyball like that. It doesn't have to be 6 people. That's just when you're like in school, when you get older and you're in high school, when there's volleyball, that's how many people will be on a team. All right, but yeah, but okay, yeah, that's very good. So in the end, like you said, we should give him advice that he should share because, like I was saying, because in practice, the coach can give a ball to whoever they want. The coach can be fair. The coach can give one to you. The coach can give one to me. The coach could give one, to Flounder. But if in a game we don't know who the person where the ball's gonna go. We don't know, so we can't be jumping in front of people because
That's
it.
rude.
Well, yeah, not only it can make us lose because we don't know what could happen. We don't want to. We don't want to think that we're so good and then end up being like what happened to him. He thought he was so good that he didn't need help, and then they started to lose. And then once he realized, oh, their teamwork is good, then they won because they worked together. All right. Well, that was really good. Yep.
That was fine.
I'm glad that you like doing it. Yes, I'm glad. So, yes, I just want to say thank you again for doing this with me, Jayden. And you are really helpful. And I'm sorry it's so late. I know you're tired. And I don't know. Thank you. All right, I'll say goodbye to my teacher. And then bye.